Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our topic today is skin as homeostatic organ. Skin is referred to as homeostatic organ because it takes part in the regulation of internal environment of the body. The skin covers the entire surface of the body. That is why it is referred to as the most extensive organ in the body of mammals. This skin is divided into two main layers. The first one is epidermis, which is the outer layer. The second layer is the dermis, which is the inner layer. This epidermis is subdivided into three layers. The first one is horny layer, the second one is granular layer, while the third one is Malphigian layer. The horny layer is also referred to as cornified layer. This is horny layer, or this layer is horny layer or cornified layer. This layer is referred to as granular layer. This one is referred to as Malphigian layer, that is the third layer. This horny layer is the outermost layer of the epidermis, while this Malphigian layer is the innermost layer of the epidermis. Then if you look at this horny layer consists of the dead cells. This granular layer consists of the living cells, and when all the cells of this granular layer have died, the granular layer becomes horny layer. Then this is Malphigian layer. This Malphigian layer consists of the living cells. Now let us look at the function of each of the layer of epidermis. Now let us start from the function of horny layer. The horny layer protects the body against loss of water. That is, it protects the body against the water loss. The second one is that it prevents the foreign bodies such as bacteria, viruses, and dust from entering the body. Another function, which is the third one, is that it protects the inner layer from excessive radiation. This radiation is the process by which heat is transferred from one place to another without the intervening medium. Therefore, you can say that horny layer protects the inner layers of the skin from excessive heat or from excessive heat. The fourth one is that this horny layer is impregnated with the protein keratin, which makes the layer tough. That is, which makes the horny layer tough, flexible, and waterproof. You can see that the outermost surface of the skin is waterproof. This waterproof is as a result of the what? Of the skin that is impregnated with protein keratin. That is, it is as a result of protein keratin that present at the outermost surface of the skin. Now, let us look at the granular layer now. It is said that the granular layer consists of the living cells. This granular layer lies beneath or below the horny layer. Then it becomes gradually thickened and longer until it gives rise to the cornified layer or horny layer. That is, when all the cells of the granular layer have died, it becomes horny or cornified layer. Then let us look at the Malphigian layer. This Malphigian layer consists of the living cells. The Malphigian layer have two pigments. The first one is melanin pigment, while the second one is keratin. Then let us look at the functions of the Malphigian layer. One of the functions of the Malphigian layer is that melanin pigment gives skin its color. The second function of Malphigian layer is that Keratin Keratin make the skin tough and flexible. That is, protein keratin that present in the Malphigian layer makes the skin tough and flexible. Then let us look at the second main part of the skin, which is dermis, which is inner part of the skin. This dermis is a thick layer of connective tissue, and it consists of the blood vessel, sebaceous gland, sweat gland, connective tissue, fatty cells, hair follicle, hair shafts, sweat duct, sweat pore. This is hair shaft. This is sebaceous gland. This is erector muscle. That is, the dermis consists of erector muscles, hair shafts, sebaceous gland, sweat ducts, erector muscle, hair follicle, sensory receptors. These are the sensory receptors or sensory nerve endings. Now let us look at the function of each component of dermis. Let us start from the functions of blood vessels. 1. Blood vessels supply food and oxygen, that is nutrients, to the epidermis and dermis cell and remove their waste. The second function of the blood vessel is that flowing of blood determines the amount of heat that is lost from the surface of the skin by convection and radiation. What do we mean by convection? Convection is the process, this convection is the process whereby the heat is transferred through the fluid by the actual movement of the heated particles. Fluid is divided into the fluid means liquid and water. That is, the fluid consists of the liquid and gas. The fluid consists of the liquid and gas. Thereby, this convection is the process whereby heat is traveled through the fluid, that is, liquid and gas, by actual heated or through actual heated of the particles. Now let us move down to the functions of hair follicle. The hair follicle is a deep pit through which the hair lies or grow. This is hair follicle. It is a deep pit through which the hair lies and grows. This is hair shaft. This hair shaft lies on the what? On the pit of the hair follicle and grows here. That is, grow from the pit of the hair follicle. Let us look at the functions of another function of the hair follicle. Another function of the hair follicle is that part of the hair project out of the skin become erected and prevent heat loss by convection. I told you that the convection is the process whereby the heat is traveled through the fluid by the actual heated particles. Now let us look at the function of the sweat glands. This sweat glands is stimulated by the flow of blood to produce sweat. That is, the more the blood is flowing to the surface of the skin, the more the sweat gland produce the sweat to the surface of the skin, The more this sweat on the surface of skin, the more the body is cooled. The more the body is cooled by evaporation of this sweat from the surface of the skin. Thereby, the first function of the skin is that the sweat secreted by the sweat gland cools the body when evaporated from the skin. The second one is that it helps in the regulation of body temperature. Then let us look at the function of sweat pores. These sweat pores are the opening through which the sweat flows to the surface of the skin. Then let us look at the sebaceous gland. Then you can say that another function of the sweat pores is that they also helps in the regulation of body temperature. The second function of the sweat pores, you can say that is that they also help in the regulation of body temperature. Then let us look at the functions of sebaceous gland. This sebaceous gland secretes oily substance known as sebum. This sebum lubricates the hairs and make them flexible. If you look at another function of the sebum is that this sebum contains lysozyme. The lysozyme is a chemical substance that kills bacteria and viruses in the skin. That is another function of sebaceous gland. It secretes sebum that contain lysozyme, which kill bacteria and viruses in the skin. Then let us look at the functions of erector muscles. These erector muscles also take part in the regulation or maintenance of body temperature. Then after erector muscles, let us look at the functions of ear shafts. These ear shafts trap a layer of air. These ear shafts trap a layer of air between them to prevent heat loss by convection. This ear shaft also take part in the regulation of body temperature. Let us look at the functions of fatty cells. The fatty cells is also known as adipose tissue. This adipose tissue acts as insulating layer against the heat lost from the body. That is, the first function of the fatty cells or adipose tissues they act as insulating layers against the heat lost from the body. Another function of the fatty cell is that they act as energy reserve in the body. You already know that the fat gives energy than the what? Than the carbohydrate. That's fat is source of energy. Thereby, the adipose tissue or fatty cells act as energy reserve in the body. Okay. Let us look at the function of sensory nerve ending. That is function of sensory receptor. This sensory receptor consists of the receptor, or let us say that each sensory receptor is sensitive to a particular type of stimuli. Each sensory receptor is sensitive to a particular type of stimuli. Then we have stimulus. We have different type of stimuli. We have stimulus for pain. We have stimulus for heat. That is example of stimuli are heat, cold, pressure, temperature, touch, etc. Then let us look at the function of connective tissues. The connective tissues hold or join all components of the skin together. The connective tissue join or hold all components of skin tightly together. Now, let us look at the skin. This is skin. In this diagram, we will discover that the horny layer, the granular layer, and Malphigian layer are components of epidermis. That is, they constitute epidermis. While other parts, while other structures like hair shafts, hair follicle, sebaceous gland, and other constitute dermis. It is only 3 layers that constitute epidermis. These layers are horny layer, which consists of the dead cell, the granular layer, which consists of the living cells, and give rise to horny layer where all its cells have died. Then the third layer of the epidermis is Malphigian layer, that consists of the living cells. That is the end of today's class. But before we bring our class to an end today, that is, before we bring our online class to an end today, I want you to take note of something, that black people have more melanin pigment than white people. This melanin pigment is totally absent in albino. There is no melanin pigment in albino. Look at the diagram again. You will see sensory receptors. These are the sensory receptors. So this one is receptor for pain. This one is receptor for touch. This one is receptor for heat. This one is receptor for cold. This is receptor for pressure. This is receptor for pressure. This is receptor for touch. This one is receptor for pain. This one is receptor for cold. This one is receptor for heat. That is why it is said that each receptor is sensitive to a particular type of stimuli. Each receptor is sensitive to a particular type of stimuli. That is the end of our today's class. For your assignments, make sure that you check your portal.